Do you want to know something that I did not expect when actively making the decision to accept and be my most authentic self? I did not expect the levels of jealousy and envy and hate that would come from that. I genuinely did not expect how upset people would get and how seemingly bothered people would get from me just wanting to be the person that I was and the person that I felt like I wanted to be. It was almost instantaneous. And for me, it was a decision about life. I knew that I was living my life to appease and please other people. I knew that that was contributing to my anxiety and my depression, and I knew that I just wanted to be myself. I actively wanted to be a better version of me. I actively wanted to be who I was supposed to be, and I was not thinking about other people at all. But here's the reality that I experienced, and we're going to talk about this today. The reality that I experienced is sometimes your authenticity will trigger other people's demons. Sometimes it will trigger them to be jealous, envious, to try to oppress and suppress your greatness, to try to dim your light and not let you shine. I found it sad and disappointing and hurtful, but I want to unpack that a little bit today. So welcome back to the aha moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott Connie. And I think this is a really important thing to talk about because I think most people are living in the space in which I was just talking about. Most people, they are not confident and self-assured and in their authentic space. And they end up being jealous when they can tell. And here's the clue. Here's the clue. Is when someone can no longer manipulate you into doing what they want you to do or being who they want you to be so that they can be more comfortable. Once people notice that they've lost that power or ability, it triggers them. Because the truth is, they like you being the way that you are because it benefits them. One of the TV shows, I've recently got into this TV show called My 600-Pound Life. I've been watching it. I've been streaming it recently. And there are circumstances, there was this guy on the show. If you know the show, it's people that, 6, 7, 800 pounds. One guy was 900 pounds. And when you're that large, you can't care for yourself. Someone has to be there. And this woman was married to this guy. And he waited on her hand and foot. He made her meals. He washed her. He took care of her. Literally everything. And he was afraid. He had a fear that if she lost all of the weight and got more mobile, that he would no longer be needed and thus would lose his role in his wife's life. Now, obviously, that's an extreme example, but that's how people think. I benefit from you being the way that you are, so if you change, I may lose that benefit. The other thing that happens is people get triggered because they want some of what you have, but they can't say it. They want that thing that you carry, but they can't own it. And then they end up not saying it out loud, but yet taking it out on you. I've had a lot of people tell me since I've gone into this professional field and started having some bits of success, people say, Elliott, you've changed. But I've got a friend named Matthew. Shout out to Matthew. I talk about Matthew all the time on the podcast. Matthew has known me since I was 19 years old. That's when I met Matthew, 19 years old. When I met him all those years ago, I'm now 48, so we're talking almost 30 years. Matthew would tell you, this is the same Elliott. He's got the same attitude, the same brashness, the same bravado, the same vulnerabilities, some of the same flaws. Confidence doesn't mean perfect. It just means I'm comfortable who I am, and I do not fear your judgment. That's really what authenticity is. I'm confident being who I am, and I do not fear your judgment. But we live in a world where people want their judgment to matter to you. So I share this message to you just to let you know, when you decide to lean in to your authentic self, understand there are going to be secondary consequences of that choice. People will be jealous, people will be envious, and they may not treat you the same. Because the truth is, all those people saying, Elliott, you've changed. I did not change. It's your perception of me changed. And that's the key. Thanks for being here. If you wouldn't mind doing me a super huge favor, I would love it if you would share this podcast with at least one person in your life that you think could benefit from hearing this message today. And also, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. And also follow me on all of the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can search for my name, Elliott Connie, or at Elliott Speaks. That's my handle across all platforms. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.